tell me you need a wash already. You don't want to see 4 minutes of all that, trust me. Hi Fartknights, it's good to be back. And welcome new squires. Glad to have you part of this project. If we haven't met yet, I'm Nina. Not that Nina, another Nina. We're talking about our lives in 4 minutes. I already did an intro video months ago, so this time I'm going to talk about my life as it is in 4 minutes. Concurrently, I'm spending my time doing one particular thing. Writing a new book, yay! And it's fantasy! And it's going to be far less transgressive than Icarus, but much more young adult than A Bitter Spring. Young adult. You become what you hate, people. If you told me 10 years ago that one day I would consider writing young adult fiction, I'd cock punch you. Today, not so much. In case you don't know, young adult fiction is usually defined by these characteristics. 1, the protagonist is an adolescent. 2, he or she is different than his friends, family, kith and kin. 3, he or she goes on some journey that involves some sort of feat of strength or wits. 4, the feat of strength or wits forces him or her to grow up. And 5, he or she gets what she wants in the end. This is a fairly common story arc that's found in other genres beside YA. YA just gets the recognition because the protagonist is a young adult. Do you see where I'm going with this? Actually, the more I think about it, the less hesitant I am to write YA. YA sells the best and has the broadest appeal. Sort of like the PG-13 rating of books. In fact, 55% of young adult books are actually consumed by adults. But I feel like I have something to prove too, namely that YA fiction doesn't have to suck. I really hate to generalize an entire genre, but YA has this bad reputation for being a cesspool of sparkling vampires, empty-headed heroines, and stupid love triangles. Not that any of those are bad per se, except the empty-headed heroine part. They're just poorly written. I think it's wrong to dismiss any genre of fiction based on a few popular but really bad novels. Furthermore, just because YA tackles some themes that are meant for young audiences doesn't mean adults can't enjoy them as well. Or maybe learn something. My third book is going to be young adult, but I'm going to actively move away from some of the more overused tropes in young adult fiction. First, I'm going to break away from the usual YA love triangle. You know, Katniss, Peeta, Gale, or Bella, Edward, Jacob. Yeah, not doing that. Not this book. I don't mind romance in books. I mind the simpering idiots love turns otherwise strong protagonists into. So the love interests are never that interesting to begin with. Or they're borderline sociopaths. Second, even though I'm writing fantasy, there will be no werewolves, vampires, or zombies. Also, no elves, dwarves, goblins, halflings, unicorns, or three-headed somethings. Here's the problem with high fantasy. You're going to get comparisons to Tolkien or Lewis, whether you like them or not. Those guys were the founders of fantasy, and anything you write is going to be in their shadow. And apropos of nothing, I hate everything C.S. Lewis has ever written. Not sorry. So, recap. A young adult novel with a female protagonist that is not in a love triangle, but also a fantasy novel that doesn't have any fantastical characters in it at all. Challenge accepted. And that's my life in 4 minutes. See you in a fortnight. Also, I spend way too much time on Pinterest. Here's a recipe for Nutella nut bars. It's a nice wedding dress. A shit ton of Doctor Who image macros. And the Avengers too.